He even went further to deny ever harassing any woman in his entire life.
I would like to state clearly that at no time did I ever attempt any sexual harassment on the said distinguished Senator AKPOTI Uduaghan or any other woman for that matter.
AKPOTI Uduaghan quickly raised a petition almost as soon as Akpabio had finished talking. She came on order 40, insisting on the weighty allegation against Akpabio.
The petition is in my name against the President of the Nigerian Senate, His Excellency Senator Godswill Akpabio, for sexual harassment, abuse of office, and malicious obstruction of my legislative functions.
AKPOTI Uduaghan's petition was granted by Akpabio, a move the Chief Whip Mohammed Monguno quickly countered that Natasha's petition was defective, as the matter was already in court, and that the petition violated Senate standing order that no senator can submit a petition on his or her own behalf.
We gave ourselves these rules in order to regulate our proceedings. Any deviation from these rules in guiding our proceedings is an invitation to chaos and anarchy. And as such, the Senate will jealously stamp its feet with a view to jealously guiding and protecting the sacred provisions of our rules.
To save a petition, Uduaghan resorted to order 10, alleging that the attempt to refuse a petition is in breach of her privileges.
I stand and I believe herefore, sir, that your denial, your refusal to accept and treat my petition before the Senate Committee on Ethics and Privileges and Abuse of my privileges, and I say forth, that this matter is not subject, it is not before the courts. The matter before the courts is on the defamation and cyberbullying statements made by your special assistant on new media, Mr. Patrick Conform, who addressed my decent outfits as transparent, thereby depicting that I walk sedulously and naked to the chambers. That is the nature of the petition, of the case in court.
AKPOTI Uduaghan's voice rose louder in protest.
On privileges, please. I believe, and please, would you stop turning off my microphone? I represent people, and I represent women who have been silenced.
When the dust settled, the Senate leader Kwemi Bamdele continued from where Monguno stopped, arguing that the Senate erred in accepting a defective petition.
Mr. President, I sympathize with you. As a man being accused of sexual harassment, I am not going to comment on that because there will be an ample opportunity for the relevant authorities to deal with that. But I know, dear colleagues, that distinguished Senator Natasha went to court on a matter, then appeared on Arise TV on another matter, talking about sexual harassment. And the wife of the President of the Senate, Mrs. Uloma Akpabio, on behalf of the family, the children, went to court. And parties have been served on allegation of sexual harassment. So it is important for the public to know, and also our observers, including our foreign observers who are also parliamentarians from the United Kingdom.
Actually referred her matter, not because I was not aware of the provisions of the rule, I was, but it's because when people are watching from outside, they may not know that we are guided by, I will call it laws, allowed by the Nigerian Constitution for us to make.
The matter was eventually left to the Ethics Committee to decide. In the heat of the drama, and quoting from the Holy Bible, Senator Cyril Fashui added new twist to the entire scandal. And he said he will bring a petition from former governor of Ekiti State, Gaudi Fahimi, alleging that it is in AKPOTI Uduaghan's character to throw false allegations.
Mr. President, I am coming officially with a petition from my former governor on the allegation that he sold Ajaokuta steel mill when he was a minister, and Senator Natasha was the one that alleged as at that time. And as of today, Mr. President, Ajaokuta steel mill still belongs to the federal government of Nigeria.
While the plenary sitting was ongoing, pro-Natasha protesters stormed the National Assembly complex in the early hours of Wednesday, demanding fair treatment for her. It was also on a day that the Senate Ethics Committee began the probe into AKPOTI Uduaghan's alleged misconduct, with the Senator Neda Maswen-led panel taking testimonies from Senator Yemi Adaramodu and 2 other witnesses, the Sergeant Adam and the chairman on rules and business. Natasha did not appear before the Senate panel, even when the announcement was made while she was in the chamber. Instead, a lawyer sent in a letter asking the panel not to entertain the matter following a court ruling stopping the process. On the petition on alleged sexual harassment that she submitted earlier in the day, the Senate panel simply threw it out, saying it is dead on arrival.
As a matter of fact, the first thing we ask when the petition comes before us is whether or not that petition is before any law court. And if the answer is yes, we do not touch such petitions.
AKPOTI Rwanda's fate about her outburst now seems to rest completely in the hands of the Senate committee. Omo, that's why Arise News.
All right, so many things happened yesterday. In addition to this report, really well done by Omo, there was also a report by Adesua, who had also featured, Asagi, who had featured the protesters, pro-AKPOTI and pro-Akpabio protesters outside the assembly. Your take on this story, Rufai?
So there are many clarifications that need to be made this morning. The first clarification was about Cyril Fasui and his assertion.
Yeah.
What Cyril Fasui was saying was he wanted to present a petition based on the Ajaokuta matter. There was no case of sexual harassment in what Cyril Fasui said, because there were some newspapers that misconstrued it and reported a certain way. And in fact, there's been a clarification by the FIME team today, and he said even concerning the Ajaokuta matter, doesn't want to be dragged in, to this debacle, that you should be left out of this. So I think there's a clarification there.
Yeah.
I think the talk about Cyril Fasui never asserted anything about sexual harassment. So that's clarification number one. Clarification number two is about the Senate Ethics Committee, which I think is not fair. And now I believe that Natasha can never get fair treatment by the Senate Ethics Committee. And I'm going to prove my point to you. As regards the case of Natasha submitting a petition on sexual harassment, the truth has to be said, the laws have to be followed.
Absolutely.
Section 40. She didn't follow that law. Why did Natasha not follow that law? Also because there's no senator, and I repeat, they can correct me if I'm wrong, willing to take on the fight and help her in submitting or co-authoring a petition against the Senate President. We have seen where most of these senators lie in all of this conversation. Secondly, why I say the Ethics Committee is not fair is the fact that yesterday there was a court order suspending the Senate Ethics Committee investigating Natasha's, tiff with the Senate President. There was a court order. I also have a copy of a letter here that was written to the clerk of the House as regards that. And guess what the Senate Ethics Committee did? They ignored the court order, they violated the court order, and went on to hold the hearing as against the court order. When it's now Natasha's petition, they keep insisting that the case is in court. With due respect, there's no case in court. What are the cases in court? Number one, case of defamation against Patrick Umfong. Secondly, the case filed by, Mrs. Unoma. And the third case in court is the motion that she got as a court injunction against them sitting the Ethics Committee, prevailing over a case and calling out for investigation. So those are the ones in court. But this sexual harassment claim, no. The case of even Senator Godswill Akpabio's wife, Senate President's wife, is a defamation case. So it's not a substantive case against sexual harassment. So let us clear that. In one breath, the Senate Ethics Committee can ignore a court order and a case already in court. But they're also citing that a case is in court, so they don't want to take on the petition. I think Natasha should find some way to represent this petition, because if we want clarity as regards this matter, investigation will be had. Nobody's saying Akpabio is right, Natasha is right. We must just investigate the case. That's just what my point on this.
Okay, let's look at the basic issues here. I think yesterday was a pivotal moment for the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, and by extension, the whole of the National Assembly. For the first time since our return to 1999, we have the chairman of the National Assembly, the number 3 citizen in the country, being accused in open plenary of sexual harassment. And what even makes it more sordid is that this was done in the presence of a UK parliamentary delegation led by Kate Osamo, the MP for Edmonton, who was there along with other parliamentarians. I think those British parliamentarians must have been shocked. They must have been asking Kate Osamo that, is this how they operate in your country? So it's exposing, the Nigerian National Assembly to ridicule. And this is why I agree with Senator Bukola Saraki, former Senate President, that the main issue should be the integrity of the National Assembly. The integrity of this National Assembly has been dragged so poorly on the streets of Nigeria that yesterday we watched the spectacle, the Nollywood type style, engagement of sponsored hungry Nigerians. One party carrying placards and banners, in fact, designer banners, supporting one side to the argument, the other side supporting the other side. I think it's very bad optics, and that the National Assembly is bringing us this embarrassment is to be condemned by every Nigerian. What is the basis of this? The basis of this is a petition by Senator AKPOTI Unoha alleging sexual harassment. Now, the National Assembly, the Senate is saying they have their rules. Order 40, sub 4, sub 9, whatever, which they were quoting yesterday. Now, no one should expect that if she or he is a member of an institution, you cannot operate outside the rules of that institution. Senator AKPOTI Unoha herself made a point yesterday that she first came to Arise News before going to the floor of the Senate. Perhaps the floor of the Senate should have been the place to start the petition, to start the protest, rather than in the media. After prolonged media trial, you now go back to the original forum, after exposing the institution to abject ridicule within the public domain. That is enough also to annoy our colleagues. But despite that, Senator Akpabio admitted the petition and said it will be treated, referred to the Committee on Ethics and Discipline, upon which Senator Bamidele and another senator raised the point about the rule in the books. The fact that Justice Donatus Iguatu, yesterday ruled that should be suspended. Senator Massen, chairman of the Ethics Committee, made the point that the court cannot interfere in the processes of the National Assembly. There are decided cases in that regard, in that particular regard. So Imasue himself, who is a lawyer, knows this, and that's why he stood on that, and the committee proceeded to act. 3, on the rule. They said their rule book says that the petition must not be signed by the petitioner. Now, whether, Uduanga is able to get somebody to support her or not, that's beyond our purview. We cannot go on a voyage of discovery to begin to imagine what may have happened. There may well be persons in that Senate who support her. However, the other point, let me just jump all the levels of analysis, is to say this, that this is a matter of urgent national interest, to the extent that the representatives of the Nigerian people have exposed that institution to ridicule. Nigerians want to know what happens at the end of the day. We understand that they have their order book and all of that. This matter can go to the court and all that. One technicality or the other, the matter will be thrown out. The basic issue will not have been addressed. As for the issues about defamation and all that, there's something called res. The main substance of the case. The main substance of this issue is the allegation of sexual harassment. And we Nigerians need to know what is the truth. Is Natasha AKPOTI a witness of truth? Is Akpabio himself, who says he was well brought up by a single mother, is he a witness of truth? This is what Nigerians, would like to know. Beyond all of that, I think that the senators, out of enthusiasm, excitement, should refrain from, blackmailing one another and the kind of, personal attacks that have been heaping on Senator AKPOTI. First, we had, she has children from 2 men. Another one, they say, she has 2 children, 1 child, 1 husband. In fact, somebody called me this morning and said, no, it's actually 6 husbands, and 6 children. Now, all of this is immaterial. This is, misogyny playing out, patriarchy playing out. Let them deal with the substance of the matter. How she lives her life privately is not the matter. The matter is whether the National Assembly is an appropriate forum for cocodrie, whereas the purpose of that assembly is for the lawmakers to conduct themselves as distinguished people. If they don't conduct themselves as distinguished people, the electorate should take notice and make sure that they're extinguished where their guilt can be established. And we expect them to conduct themselves as gentlemen, as responsible people. That is our
Okay, guys, so welcome back to our channel. Now, with the way that this case is going, it's obvious that Senator Natasha is not going to get her deserved justice, because she's not even getting a fair hearing in the first place. I mean, why is it that the people that are supposed to be the one in charge of the case are the ones already saying that they do not think that Senator Akpabio can do such a thing without even trial? I mean, the people that are even supposed to investigate this case are not even supposed to come from the Senate. They're supposed to be independent body, just like what Abati said. They're supposed to be people from outside, because already from the few senators that are talking, almost all of them have already started siding Akpabio, although it is expected because this is the Senate president and none of them would want to lose 1 or 2 favors. So this is a very disturbing thing, because if this case should be swept under the carpet like this, that means there is no hope for ordinary women in the society, because this is a senator being harassed and nobody wants to do something serious about it. That means a woman day in day out can be harassed and nobody can even come out to talk, because before you come out to speak, the people that you are going to complain to have already dismissed you. So what is now the point of complaining? And just like that, it will continue to go forward without any justice. So guys, this is not even ending well at all. Look at the woman that is even supposed to side with Natasha in the first place, was the person that run to Arise TV to say that Natasha do not follow rules. What rules was that? Because she went to television to say that she was harassed. Is that the first call of action that she's supposed to do, being the female leader of the senators in that National Assembly? Anyway, guys, the way that this thing is going, I don't even know again. Please share me your opinion on this video in the comment section, like and share, and please